Welcome to the Cincy PostCast. I'm Kevin Wallace, and before we get started with today's episode, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Streetside Brewery, who were kind enough, nice enough to host us for the pre-match show that we did before Game 2 versus Columbus. Oh man, a huge thank you to everybody who came out, raffled off an FCC jersey. Amazing stuff. Streetside have been such good partners with us all season long, forever, really. We are so happy to have them on board. Return the favor. They're located over on the east side of Cincinnati in the Columbia-Tusculum neighborhood. They're serving up delicious beers. You can buy them around the city as well. It is a fantastic spot. Lovely, lovely staff. The match didn't go the way that we wanted, but I'll tell you, Streetside did their part. Huge fans of theirs. Thank you to Streetside for sponsoring this episode, and thank you, listener, for going and checking them out in return. And on today's episode, well, I'll be honest. After how that match went on Sunday and how personally I've been feeling going into Saturday, I felt like we needed some help. I felt like we needed some professional help, okay? So part one of this episode, we got your vibes, baby, okay? We got you. Don't worry. I think you're going to enjoy the conversation that we have. After that, in part two, it's a combination retrospective at the game in Game 2 and a look ahead on the match at Game 3. I think you put this all together, you will have a very cohesive look at the match ahead, about the game ahead, the playoff series ahead. Put it all together, get your spirits up, get hyped for this weekend, because we've got another postcast for you. Joining us to talk about all of that and more, at least in part one. I took some initiative here, okay? Chief Grayson didn't know this. Grayson's not with us. I felt like going into Game 3, Chief, we needed some professional help, okay?
We've needed professional help on this podcast for a lot longer than going into Game 3. Let's be real here.
That is true. Now, some people might think, oh, they've brought in an editor, an audio engineer. No. We have brought in Todd Cassady, an LPCCS. He's a mental health therapist who specializes in helping people in, say, the most difficult moments of their life, periods of transition. He's with holistic therapy and healing. Todd, how are you doing this evening?
Oh man, I'm good. I gotta be honest. Here I was thinking after that drubbing that we just took from Sunday night, I wasn't even going to listen to the podcast this week, thinking it wasn't going to be helpful. And now I'm involved in the podcast, and that was not on my radar.
Yeah, I guess I should address that. We Chief and I we we did about an hour and a half worth of postcast at Streetside. Huge thank you to everybody who came out before the game. The entire show was the pre-game, and it didn't make sense to record and release it because it would have all been pregame.
I bet nobody wants to listen to the pregame. We're all excited about a game that ends up going 4-0 the other way. It's like sickos only downloading this one.
Yes. So we did not have an official post-game show. So that makes this one both the post-game show and the pre-game show for Game 3. So Todd, I think it's very funny that first off that you're on this show, because I did not reach out to you. I was doing some Googling, just doing some random Googling. And what I wanted was somebody in Cincinnati who specialized in maybe like athlete mental health. And your very lovely coworker, Cassady, was like, I appreciate the offer, but I've got a better guy for you.
Yes, I'm glad she did, because like I said, she knew like what my coworkers know about me when they're like, we got to get it, like Secret Santa gifts, right? So he's a big soccer fan. Let's get more FC Cincinnati stuff. So they know when FC Cincinnati's discussed, like, we got to get Todd involved. So happy she did it.
Yeah.
So Todd, maybe you can help just educate our listeners a little bit. Kevin gave your credentials, LPCCS. What is an LPCCS, and what is it that if you had to sort of give an elevator pitch as to what you do and what kind of things you offer to your clients and to the community, how would you describe yourself, and what does that mean when we say LPCCS?
So when you graduate with the master's, your first test will get you, and you pass that, you'll get an LPC. And that means you got a dependent license. You need supervision for about 2 years. The LPCC means you passed an independent licensing exam. You no longer need the supervision. And so therefore I could be independently practicing without somebody that I have to report to. And the S at the end means I'm a supervisor myself. I can see other LPCs that need supervision help. And so my focus has always been people experiencing really heavy emotions. People who, when I see, even when couples come in my room, when they're struggling with something, it's not the first time they've come across it, they reach out to the therapist. This is a loop they get stuck in. And I help them try to gain a perspective of a new way of addressing these parts that they're dealing with within themselves. Say with somebody who's battling lifelong depression, it's just an individual. My role and goal is to help them develop a different relationship with themselves and understanding what these parts within them are wanting from them, a different kind of a relationship than they've ever had. So they don't have to be so scared or so fearful of it, that it's more loving and protecting rather than scary and fearful.
So would you say that you help people gel together?
Yeah, that's one way. Yes, absolutely. I can see where you're going with this, because the team needed a little cohesiveness now. I hear you.
Well, I mean, there was that. And I was also thinking to myself as you were describing this, I was like, man, where were you this time a year ago, right before Lucho Acosta decided to address the media after the NYCFC series?
I'm assuming you guys have seen Ted Lasso, or perhaps know about it, but they hire a therapist for that
Sure.
team. I'm thinking, I do wonder if FC Cincinnati's got somebody on staff, because that could have been helpful before he went out there.
Yeah, that really looked like somebody who could have gone through some counseling. Certainly looked like was going through something there. I guess, Todd, as we look at Game 3, this is a high pressure situation, and the team last time it went out virtually unchanged from the team that was successful the week prior. Everything went wrong. Now the backs are against the wall. The momentum has shifted a little bit here. What do you think would be the advice given to the team generally in facing a moment like this? Like, I can't think of like a situation where like maybe there's an equivalent. I just can't come up with it. And like in a marriage where it's like, we've got Game 3. It's more of a long-term slow burn thing. But yeah. But
there is, to help to me, there is a bit of an equivalency in the sense of, I don't have any kids right now. I'm recently married. I don't know if you guys have kids, but same thing. If you're a parent, you're not going to get it right all of the time. You're going to mess up. You're going to lose your patience. You're going to have a bad tone. Long-term relationships, especially marriages, are not about the big things in life. It's about the everyday nail on the head. How are we going to interact and talk to each other? How are we going to say goodbye? How are we going to greet each other? Those are the foundational everyday activities. And so there is this, if something doesn't go the way you want it to, there is this idea of like, hey, we got to focus. Let's go back to the basics. Let's get this stuff right. Basic stuff before in repair, rather than focus on the thing that went poorly. And I think same for the team. Watching Alvis Powell, who had an amazing 20 minutes in Game 1, struggle mightily in Game 2. Couldn't keep his feet out there. Whatever the cleats, whatever's going on with the field, but he in particular struggled mightily. He's got to go back and say, you know what, that was, if he's back out there, he can't be thinking about Game 2 and slipping. Right. It's like a golfer hitting a bad tee shot. It's the next shot. And these athletes, who I'm sure are very hyper competitive and very aware of all that, or else they wouldn't have gotten where they are, need to go back to that. What's the basic? What do I need to focus on? Even in game 3, if they mess up, bad play, got to move on.
So
got to keep trucking.
With the Columbus Crew in particular, we talk about getting into negative thought patterns. And with the Crew specifically, it feels like we've been down this road before. You don't have to think back too far to earlier in the season, 4-2 at TQL Stadium. You go back to 2023, up 2-0, end up losing 3-2 in the Eastern Conference Final. What are some, if you're advising someone who may be on the coaching staff or who may have been around for all of these moments, because we know rosters change, we know people change, what are some things that you would be advising people to say, think, or ways to break out of this feeling like, oh no, it's happening again?
Yeah. My thought to that are, first off, how aware are you that it's happening? How aware are you, or if you're spiraling, how aware of you are you that you're spiraling? That would be step one, because to me, when somebody comes in and they'll be like, man, I spiraled for 24 hours. To me, a horrible goal would be, okay, well then we got to stop doing it altogether and never do that again. It'd be impossible. So the goal is always, can we get 5 minutes better than 24 hours, right? And you just keep breaking it down there. Now, again, since we're talking with hyper competitive athletes here, they probably have the ability to choose what they're thinking about a little bit better. And that's what I would advise them. It's if that's what's going on, and that thought enters their head of like, oh, did I make the wrong substitution? Did I sit back and try to defend too early? You can't think of those worst times that it didn't work out. You think of the best times that it worked out, and then you trust your gut, because a lot of sports it's intuition based, and you gotta trust what got you there, not go against your instincts.
Yeah, no, I think that makes perfect sense. I think too, then when we think of, and maybe a marriage is maybe the right dynamic for this, the relationship between the fans and the team. And we've heard from every player, we've heard it from Noonan, we've heard it from Albright, that the players feed off of the energy in the stadium. And I'll tell you what I am personally worried about is that the fan base brings their anxieties, their worries into the stadium, and individually, everybody's clapping and cheering, but maybe as a collective, the team can feel that it's not quite at the same intensity, or that there's a little bit holding back because everybody's a little worried. So what would be advice to, say, the fans to be a better, more supportive spouse in this relationship?
I'm about to say something here that I fail out myself. And this is like the curse of like Cincinnati, right? It's like, we have been burdened in this city with failure after failure after failure. And so we're bringing that into the stadium, whether we care to admit it or not. That baggage is coming. One bad call. Thankfully, Guido, I don't think is reffing this game 3 here, but one bad call, right? We're going to lose it. Right, we're going to lose it. And so to me, what I try telling myself, and what my friends even make fun of me for, because it doesn't always look this way, is when I start getting real nervous, they'll ask me, hey, are you having fun? And I'm telling myself, yeah, this is fun. I am having fun doing this, right? And so we have to appreciate what these negative emotions do, because the reason we keep coming back in this love relationship with this teams and our teams here is that that joy, that is unbridled joy that you don't get to feel in most things in life. There's nothing quite like it when your team loves you back that way. And that's why we're doing this. And so if we can figure out a way to, as fans, to appreciate what these negative emotions are doing for us, it's going to make that joy even better. And so when we tell ourselves we are excited and having fun, rather than we're anxious and nervous and, oh my God, I'm going to rage quit here. Yeah. Then that's the self-talk for fans. Right?
Okay. So as a sports fan, I have this thing where whenever my team goes down by even a run or a point or a goal, I am convinced the game is over. They're never coming back.
In fact, I'm with you, because I'm looking for your tweet saying game over. We suck. Let's do it, right?
Yeah, no, I can think of an incredible number of instances where every team that I am a fan of has in fact trailed and come back. why do I think this? Why am I so wired for just a complete lack of faith in things that I love? And am I a damaged and broken person?
Yeah. No, you're not, because to me, it's so normal. It's why we all commiserate to it. It's why we find the magnetism of that negativity. It just attracts each other, right? It's because feeling like a victim is easy. If we can blame the coach, we can blame the ref, we can blame MLS conspiracy against us. This is what they're doing in Miami. It's not fair what they're doing in Miami.
That's real, by the way.
It is real. Okay. And it's easy to blame.
My conspiracies are real.
And I'm glad Suarez got suspended, because he should be. He should be playing. But it's easy to start blaming all of this because we've got all this pain inside of us. And that's like the technical, I'm going to get technical about what's the definition of blame. It's just discharging our pain. And that's why it feels good to be the victim, because we don't have to do anything about it if you're the victim. And it's so short term, it feels good. Long term, it probably hurts us in the end a little bit to feel like the victim.
This may be
like you said, you keep going back to it.
This may be too in depth, but I am curious about this, like actually for real. So I have 3 tickets to the game on Saturday, and I have had a hell of a time finding 2 people who want to go with me. Not the least of which my significant other, Mrs. Chief, who says, that's going to be really tense. I don't want to do that. What is it about certain people that it's not like a value thing? It's just certain people process stress differently, but some people thrive in that environment. No, I want to go. I want to feel something. And other people are, no, I don't enjoy that sort of tension-filled environment. What is it about people that makes that different in your experience?
I find it fascinating too. I look at my dad for an example. He will not watch a game at home with my mom or by himself. He won't do it. It makes him so nervous. It makes him so much angrier. He'll record it, and if we win, he'll watch it.
I love this guy. This is my people right here.
Right. Now, he will go, his biggest passion, I would say, is probably UC sports and Bengals and Red. He will go to the game where he feels like I've got a little bit more control. I can yell at the ref. It's socially acceptable. I can do all of that. But if I'm at home by myself, I'm not watching it. And I find it really interesting, the choices that we make of who wants to ride this wave of the up and down, because that's inevitable in any loving relationship. And we are in a loving relationship with our sports teams. Guess what? Pain is inevitable. We are going to be hurt. We can't control the outcomes. We can't control our wife. We can't control how somebody else is going to love us. We just get to control ourselves. And some people can sign up for it and do it well. And other people are like, you know what? That's not kind of for me. I'm going to put my energy elsewhere.
So you say we can't control it. So would you say that I am not mentally well for making the decision on what I wear to games based on what jersey we have performed well in recently?
Because it's a perfect example.
I wore the orange jersey for the Orange Out and we won, but then we were wearing the road kit in Columbus. So I wore that to the pre-show and we lost. And I'm thinking to myself already, do I go with the white Yakubo kit, but we lost recently, I think the last time we wore that, or do I need to break out the OG USL whites for just the extra luck? I spend a lot of time thinking about this. Like, is that healthy?
To me, we are searching, the sickos, right? We are the sickos. We are searching for any bit of control that we can. Right. If we think someone's going to bring us that extra bit of luck, a good call, a bad call against the other team, whatever it might be, we're using it. We're taking it. We're looking for it, because I've thought through the same thing. What shirt has brought the most amount of wins overall? I'll wear it. Like, it's so absolutely. That is us seeking for that control that we have absolutely no control of. We want to feel like we are in control. That's our ego doing its job. It's there to protect us. It's there to give us something. And no doubt about it, we are in a loving relationship where pain is inevitable. Because guess what? Even if we go and win this cup this year, we're going to be feeling it again next year once these games start back up. It doesn't stop. Like, we are in this relationship.
The point of sports is not to feel joy. The point of sports is to be sad in a group of people, I think.
And it teaches you as fans. Athletes always talk, well, sports taught me so much. Teaches us as fans too. I'll ask myself this question too, to help myself get out of it. Like if it's a terrible loss, I'd rather lose 4-0, quite honestly, than a horrible call at the end that doesn't go our way.
Yeah.
I'd always take that, because at the end, that stings longer. When the Bengals lost that Super Bowl and the Logan Wilson call, like that, like he just got traded. So now it's all over my timeline again. I don't want to see that. It sends me right back to it. And I'll ask myself, well, how long do I want to feel this way? How long do I want to be angry and sad? And who do I want to be when life doesn't go my way? Those are helpful questions to ask yourself so that you can be prepared. Well, when life doesn't go our way, because it doesn't always, who do you want to be?
Yeah. No, Todd, I think I'm definitely taking the lesson of, the anxiety or maybe even the negative feelings of dread during the game, after a bad moment in the game, of sort of internalizing that as, I feel this way because I love this team and I want to express my love for the team. Therefore, I will cheer louder, clap harder, join in the chants and songs. I think it's an amazing lesson. Are there any other sort of like in the moment sort of like, I'm thinking breathing techniques. I'm thinking, like simple things we can get the fan base back in the game as quickly as possible after.
That's great.
Maybe some non 24-ounce solutions, hopefully.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
Because that's the other thing. Being aware of what alcohol is going to do to you. That's a big thing too, because absolutely that's going to make you feel worse if we have a bad loss, but it's also going to make you feel better if we have a great win, right? So it comes and goes with the territory. But even asking the person that you're there with, just to check in with each other, like, hey, just want to see how are we feeling right now? Like talk about it and get it out rather than try to stuff it down in a way, because when we start feeling squeezed, when that pressure starts feeling like, and it's getting squeezing us, we get to decide what comes out of us, right? Like we're not just full of acid and rage. We can be light and fun, right? Like, we'd like to think, I hope we have friends, right? I hope we have
ideally
people that care about us, right?
Right.
But we should have a little bit of a choice into what comes out of us when life starts squeezing us. And if we start talking about that, it can be on the forefront of our mind rather than just where we kind of get emotionally hijacked and we just go back to our normal way of just rage.
So that's an interesting point. So in those moments where we're feeling tense, I always have the thing. It's kind of like I'm born and raised a baseball fan. I played baseball growing up. You don't talk about the no-hitter while the no-hitter's happening. Everybody knows this. Similarly, I can think of so many times I've been watching a soccer game or I've been watching a sporting event or, and I can feel the dread, but if I don't want to give it voice, I don't want to give it like, I feel like they're about to score here and ruin my night. And therefore my month, and therefore my year. I'll be there for you. Theme from Friends. Should we give these thoughts voice in the moment? Should we? Is that a helpful thing to do? Do you think?
Yeah. To me, so I like using this terminology of that's just a part of us, right? Die-hard sports fans are going to have this part of us that feels like dread, that feels like here comes that other shoe's about to drop and we're going to lose horrifically. And that part is, guess what? That is the part that I would help most people try to have a different relationship with, because that part is trying to love you and protect you by getting ready and being prepared for the worst thing that could happen. Because like so many people would say being caught off guard of something would be the worst thing that could happen to me. And if we're prepared, if that part prepares us for the worst thing, the inevitable worst thing that happens, well, then it might not hurt so much. But that's why that part gets so active during a sports game, because it's trying to prepare us for that disappointment and pain. And it's really trying to love us and help us. And if we can remind ourselves that part, that overactive part, is trying to love us right now, that's the different relationship with the part.
Is it worth visualizing the worst case scenario as a fan, or should we go in with blind optimism and let the events dictate?
I think that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. I think what's inevitable into a lot of sports fans that have experienced this kind of disappointment here in Cincinnati, I think it's kind of an automatic switch that goes on. Like we're not even consciously choosing to think about the worst; it's taking us over. Yeah. If you have the ability to not think about it, I think that's awesome. But I think most people in that stadium will be thinking at some point about the worst case scenario. And that's when we can start telling ourselves about, or reminding ourselves that this part is trying to be helpful. And when we can start embracing that kind of a different relationship with that part, and we, instead of not acknowledging it, ignoring it, hating that part of it, of ourselves, then we can start utilizing what it's trying to do for us and say like, hey, loving a sports team is accepting that pain is going to happen. Like we're not going to win. We're not going to win every game we go out and play. I'd love for that to be the case. But then guess what? That's like living in San Diego with nice weather. We're not going to appreciate a nice day if that keeps happening. So the negative emotions are there for us so that we can really enjoy the high ones.
I love that advice. So Todd, thank you so much, man. Like this has been incredibly helpful. So why don't you tell the fine folks what you got going on at Holistic Therapy and Healing over there in Mount Lookout?
Absolutely. We've got a full team of people happy to help. You can reach out to me directly, or our owner name's Paige. She can easily direct you to somebody else on the team. November is Mental Health Month for men. Feel free. I'm imagining there's a lot of men that listen to this podcast. If you're feeling any sort of discomfort, pain that you just can't overcome yourself, please reach out to somebody. If not me, somebody in your life, somebody that really wants to listen and help care for you. We've got a lot of activities going on over at our practice. We're on Eastern Avenue in Mount Lookout. Happy to take your call, just talk it to you, see if it's a right fit, to see if for our practice, or maybe I know somebody else in the field that could be more helpful.
Oh, incredible stuff, Todd. Thank you so much. I think Chief and I needed this. I think the fan base needs this.
Good.
I hope the team doesn't need this, but
yes.
maybe that's helpful there too.
My number one hope is that your phone is very quiet on Sunday and Monday.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. My gosh. And then, we'll probably be doing this again with Messi and company if they end up beating Nashville.
Yep. Well, Todd, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, so a huge thank you to Todd for joining us. Chief, I think that was a very helpful conversation going into this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to have him back on because we didn't get into the idea where, you know how everybody says they don't root for injuries to the opposing team?
Uh-oh.
I sometimes root for light injuries to the opposing team. I need to know whether or not that makes me bad. I don't know. Hey, by the way, Grayson joined us. He's all hopped up on NyQuil right now. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Grayson's still recovering from the hangover he got going to Columbus on Sunday.
Yeah, I may just pass out on the show at some point.
Got a little bit of the yellow and black flu going on right here, unfortunately.
Yeah. Grayson, are you okay taking the blame for the loss on Sunday? We all said we weren't going to go again.
It's just one more thing,
The suffering servant right here.
I think I'm like eating the loss. Like I'm like the sin eater here, where or like I'm the child of Omelis or something.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting the loss passed through me. It's going to be a couple of days.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that you're feeling better and that the loss has truly been defeated before we take the field on Saturday. We need you to recover quickly here because I do have a feeling you might have brought evil back from Columbus with you.
I probably did.
And a Goosebumps tifo. So something to keep an eye on.
I was shocked they did a Goosebumps tifo. That's such an interesting idea.
Oh, I know.
Because I don't know if people know this. R.L. Stein is from there.
Oh,
wow. Really?
Are all the grad students that wrote the books under his name, are they also from Columbus?
Yeah, they were all in Matt Cariello's literature seminar. That's an old Buckheads reference for you guys. I liked that guy. That was probably my favorite professor in college. He was like little Italian dude with a beret.
That's fun.
Told me about the time he met Pete Seeger at a socialist conference.
Oh, wow.
I was like, "You'll just say you're a socialist? Where people might be
You have
listening."
conferences?
I was like, I didn't know you could do that.
I thought you were talking about another Italian man wearing a beret who ran for mayor recently. So,
Mario?
Silva? I mean, it's not a very
Silva.
Italian name, but yeah.
Yeah. I was sad that the socialist guy didn't win.
Yeah.
I mean, with the red beret.
Yeah, clearly the guy in the faux military uniform.
They're our votes, not your votes. You know, R.L. Stine has published 350 books. Like, that's an absurd number of books.
I mean, yeah.
You can't possibly have anything left to say. Just about anything in life. Why don't you have written 350 books?
The ventriloquist dummy can always come back.
Yeah, right.
There's there's at least 50 scenarios you could put a ventriloquist dummy in.
How many of those two are like choose your own adventure books?
I don't think he did choose your own adventure books. Choose your own adventures books are actually entertaining.
He did have some choose your own adventure books. I don't know if there were many, but he did some.
Yeah.
I think he did them. I believe Animorphs also did them.
Animorphs had like a really dark ending. Like if you go and you actually look at like how the Animorphs series ended.
Yeah, they all like die.
Yeah. Like they were all traumatized as being child soldiers or something like that.
Well, and I think I read an interview with the author like years later, because every couple of years I'm like, what's going on with Animorphs?
It does feel weird they haven't made like a TV show or anything about that yet, right?
They did have a TV show.
Really?
It was on Nickelodeon, and it was like so low budget.
It was
that like good. Every time an alien showed up, it was like they were trying to hide Marlon Brando's fat body in Apocalypse Now. It was just like a little bit of light on clearly like a puppet head.
Yeah.
Right. And it was useful that the aliens didn't have mouths and just, spoke telepathically, because you could just have the puppet head stand there in the darkness, not having to show that you don't have like a body that can realistically move. The Iceman from X-Men was in it.
Oh,
there we go.
I think they canceled it after a season.
That would make sense. On a similar note, in our house, we have recently started reading Redwall together as a family.
Yeah. Ball knower.
Chief, not only do I sit and read it and I do like voices for all the characters and stuff, but then I put on like background music that matches the mood.
Is it the same music from the
Dungeons and Dragons episode?
Guys, it's the exact same YouTube channel.
You get like a real. I also enjoyed the Redwall books as a kid. I feel like you get a really weird spectrum of like what a badger is.
Yeah.
Or like
or like how otters work. Like the scale of all of it.
Like what is the scale of a badger to a rat or to
it's like,
a
holy
mouse?
cow, badgers are freaking tanks.
Yeah. You stop and think about it. It's like
William the Refrigerator Perry.
Right.
There's a character, Shadow, who is like half weasel, half rat. And now my brain
I don't know if you can do that.
I can't comprehend.
So West Virginia weasel.
Half weasel, half rat versus a badger. My power scale is all off.
Yeah.
This is what
he ran for mayor.
Remember when Bush at the State of the Union was like, and we got to put a stop to these people animal hybrids. Maybe he had just read a Redwall.
That's a good point, actually.
That would be I would love a politician that openly admitted I was a Redwall fan. Like that would get my vote regardless. I might be a single issue voter on that. Like what's your take on Redwall? How do you feel about that?
People can't be. I wish people could just be normal about the books they read.
Yeah.
Like politicians. It's like, well, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, which is why I've modeled my life after Sauron.
Hey, man, I think you took the wrong lessons from that book.
I read Red Rising once, and now I think that the gold should be in charge of everything.
He'd be like, it'd be really cool if, like, think about how nice things would have been in Middle Earth if Sauron had just been a good guy. I'll just be the good guy that gives myself the power of Sauron. There's no lessons in the book about like the path that befalls a good person who seeks power.
Yeah, just the actual pursuit of the ring being the actual bad thing. Yeah. Something to think about.
So anyway, great goosebumps, Tifo.
You know what's funny, Chief? Before, if folks came out to the Street Side show, which thank you if you did, it was a hell of a turnout. We said it. I asked you the question. I said, would they go with an obscure album cover or Goosebumps? And you said Goosebumps. So
Have they done like a Roy Lichtenstein?
No, I don't.
Like, we've done Charlie Harper.
Not with us, I should say.
But they
maybe
could do
they
like
reserve. I don't know.
They only do Goosebumps for us. They save us the heavy hitters,
Right.
the Goosebumps.
Like, we don't bring out R.L. Stein for anyone.
With like Crew Cat, like covering his face looking forlorn and just saying like, or no, Gary looking forlorn.
Yeah.
Right. I'm kind of misremembering this thing. It's like, I don't care if I drown. I just never want to see Wilfred Nancy again. Like that's a good one.
It's also like objectively accurate. It's like, yeah, no, I don't want to see this guy ever again. It's like, fair. You nailed it right there.
They could also do, who's the other guy that went to Ohio State? The other like kind of comic, Milton Caniff.
You got me there.
Yeah, they should let me do it.
Let's put Grayson in charge of Tifo's
You
sweat.
said like the other guy went to Ohio State, and I was like, Maurice Claret? Where's he going with this?
Patricia Heaton.
JD Vance. So let's talk very briefly about the game that happened on Sunday.
I'm trying to get JD Vance on still.
I appreciated the last attempt that you threw out there. I thought that was very good.
I'm just trying to find common ground.
Just gonna talk. I just want to talk, man. It's all right.
Yeah.
You don't have to be here.
No, it's.
I know you can do Zooms.
Yeah. Hosted a whole podcast himself. He's a podcast, expert at this point.
Probably the most successful podcaster of all time.
Yes. Sure. He could use 12 more listeners. The game did not go according to plan. I think we are all in agreement in saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just going to shoot from the hip here. I think we're all in agreement in saying after the second goal, which comes from the free kick of the red card, that from that point on,
That statement is incredible.
Yes.
It's like the second goal that came from the free kick after the red card. It's like, other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
What I'm saying is that was a terrible moment and we should judge it in its entirety. What I'm saying is after that moment, I'm not as interested in analyzing how the game went or the stats or anything like that. But what I am concerned about is what happened before.
I do have kind of the opposite view that Pat Noonan expressed.
Okay.
Because Pat Noonan was like, well, there wasn't enough before the red card to really analyze.
There was plenty before.
Which, like, I put this on Twitter. I think he was lying.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think he just didn't want to talk about it because they were slipping and sliding all over the place. Columbus was putting a ton of pressure on them early. Columbus had the first goal when there was full 11 on the field, and it was pretty emphatic. Like it felt like it was coming, right? And we looked bad and they looked good scoring it. And then the second goal came on like another break they got off of a turnover where Herrera was straight on with Roman with nobody in front of him.
Yeah.
And that could have easily been goal number 2 if Cuba doesn't foul him.
Yeah.
So like they basically gave up 2 goals with 11 men on the field.
Yeah. The story of this game for me, because, the lineup was mostly unchanged. Where it was changed was probably I'll say it was just a tactical miscalculation by Pat Noonan. Like, we all like Alvis Powell. Alvis Powell is not a center back. Like, he is just not, there have been times he's played center back, but if he would not be, I don't think anyone's even top 5 choice for center back playing out there. And, you put the same lineup out there, and between the two matches, Columbus made a very clear tactical shift in this match, where in the previous match, they had tried to play through the middle and they had tried to possess through the middle. And with this second match, they come in and instead of playing through the middle, they begin the play and then immediately look to go over the top as Cincinnati's back line collapses forward to offer pressure and resistance in the midfield. And what they ended up with, because FCC was man marking, was they ended up with multiple opportunities where it was 1v1 with, in one instance, Alvis Powell, in another instance, Yuya Kubo attempting to run with someone and prevent a run over the top. And it put both of them in a situation where you either win the ball or someone is going to be 1v1 versus the keeper. Or if you let the ball bounce, you are at the mercy of where that ball goes and who runs onto it first. They didn't win the second balls in either opportunity. And so it was a tactical shift by Nancy, and they adjusted way too late to it. And what Nancy did was he targeted Powell and he targeted Kubo. He targeted the two people that are not natural defenders in this alignment right here. And they got 2 goals out of it. And Noonan was slow to adjust. The lineup he put out didn't lend itself to a lot of adjustments being made. But to me, it was a coaching loss right here. It was a coaching loss the second they penciled Alvis Powell into the match. And, when there wasn't an adjustment to offer more help or to drop players further back or, to change the line of attack on the back line to offer less room to play over the top.
Is it fair to say, I don't disagree at all, Chief, but I almost wonder if this game wasn't lost earlier in the week, that just like the team came out so flat and was late to every loose ball, just did not play with an intensity of a game to knock out your rivals on the road.
That's all they've played all year.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times has this team come out and been like hot out of the chute? Like more often than not, it feels like they come out and they concede a ton of possession, and they can, especially on the road, concede a ton of possession. They've won a lot of games on the road, but they don't take control of a lot of games early. Like they don't score early very often. Even in this first game of the series, they didn't score until what, like the 75th, 77th minute?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's easy to, in hindsight, like go back and try to look for clues, but
right.
Pat Noonan made comments in the week leading up to the game that like training wasn't as intense as the training going into the first game. He made a comment after the game that Hagelin would not have been fit to go full 90. So he held him out because they were guaranteed to have another game regardless. So he felt like it was just better to be cautious with him. Miles after the game said, because of the format, it doesn't matter if we lose 4-0 or we lose in PKs because we still go back to Cincinnati. We have a chance to win. And like, that's literally true. But like, I'm sorry, that's like, it's just a lot of signs of like, again, like the team is not full of killers.
Right.
They don't have people who have like the right mindset that are just going to take it to you. And Crew came into the game, on point, they moved the ball fast. They attacked opportunities. A turnover went fast to goal, right? If there was space in front of the player, we don't do that, and it's a type of game where it's like, oh, let's hope this is a wake up call or whatever. This team has had 15 wake up calls this season, and they, maybe they respond the next game, but then there's another game where it's like, oh man, I really hope this is a wake up call. And this is the 10th. Like it's lackadaisical, and you just wonder if it's guys realize that like maybe some of the play styles don't really fit together as neatly as we would want to. So they're getting discouraged, or they feel like they're so good that they can just always turn it on when they need to. It is not, there's just like sign after sign that the team doesn't have the mentality that you would expect to have as a cup contender. And, you know who's not going out and getting blown out on the road in game 2 when they have a chance to put it away? It's Philadelphia. Right. And it's a lot of other teams that, even if they lost, right, they kept it close.
Yeah. They were in it.
Like they could always bounce back and win or whatever. But then it's like, are you going to keep that focus and that intensity, the whole playoffs? I just don't see it.
My biggest thing watching this game back or looking back on this game is, look, you got picked for 2 goals. There should have been some sort of a tactical adjustment. I don't know if they were all wearing the wrong cleats or they did something to the field. They overwatered it or they didn't water it or whatever it was that they weren't expecting. There was a lot of slipping and a lot of falling that you would think that there would have been a little more awareness of.
Yeah.
My biggest sort of did not see that coming was how completely toothless the attack looked on the road, where, again, we've played better on the road than we've played at home. We played better statistically against the Crew at their building than we did when we played them at our building in the regular season. The team generated 0.01 XG for the entire game. The passing charts you can find, especially passing in the final third, is one of the saddest things I've ever seen. I mean, it's very much like Man City playing in the FA Cup against a team in the National League type of look, where the action is all one direction. There's not even the ball isn't held long enough for there to even be a chance. And again, it's even down a man. You would have thought maybe they would get something at some point. But,
one shot off.
Yeah, but you started the game with all of your best attacking players on the field. You started the game with, Ender, Yuya, Evander, Denke, and Brenner, and they were just non-threatening even before the red card happened. And it's baffling. I would, again, love to know someone smarter than me to explain this, just how you can assemble that much talent on the field and they struggle so mightily to do things like bring the ball into the attacking third.
There shouldn't be like a tactic that a team could just flip on that beats this team 4-0 and makes them completely unable to generate any chance at goal, period.
Right.
And I know they went down a man, but like they went down a man because they were getting beat so bad.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a fluke. Like you do see sometimes flukes, like a bad call or a bad break where a guy,
like a Nunga stepping on that guy's foot earlier in the season.
That was a bad break. This was, you were getting your ass beat.
Yeah.
And,
if it wasn't a red, it was a yellow and you were getting sent off anyway.
Right. And that shouldn't, it's just the type of thing that shouldn't be happening with this team. And if they don't go on to win MLS Cup, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity to ask, like, why did things happen with this team that shouldn't be happening when you look at it on paper and when you look at it with this highly regarded coaching staff and with, executive of the year, Chris Albright and all that. Like, I'm not sitting here like putting blame on any one person right now, but I am saying that, like, if they don't win MLS Cup, if they don't at least make the Eastern Conference Finals or MLS Cup, something went horribly wrong with this team. And there'll be the opportunity to kind of explore what everybody thinks that is. And I have not seen, from the team's public statements at any point this season, any recognition of like, yeah, things aren't going quite as we would hope.
Yeah.
And we're working on this thing or that thing. In fact, Nick Hagland came on this show and said, we have a plan. We're doing stuff intentionally. It's not just Kevin and Evander bailing us out every game.
Yeah.
And I'll believe him that they have a plan. But like, what is it? And like, was this the plan?
Yeah. Or
was what happened on the field the first 40 minutes the plan?
Right. What's the backup plan? Like, clearly, whatever plan existed for the first 40 minutes didn't work. What are the adjustments you make?
So here was the stat that I pulled, and I'm just curious what your guys' take on this is. I went back and I pulled all the matches. This is Pat Noonan's record against Wilfred Nancy since Pat Noonan has become a head coach. And this includes all of Nancy's time at Columbus, as well as Nancy when he was the manager at Montreal in 2022.
Okay.
During this time period, Pat Noonan is 3 wins, 6 losses, and 2 draws against Wilfred Nancy. The team has a -9 goal differential in those games and a -8.9 XG differential. And over the course of those 4 seasons, FC Cincinnati has had the higher roster spend total in 3 of those 4 the higher salary in 3 of those 4 years and the higher roster spend in all 4 of those years.
Okay.
And my question is this. Does Pat Noonan have a playoff problem, or does he have a Wilfred Nancy problem specifically because of Pat Noonan's losses in the playoffs now? Like, 2 so far have come directly to Nancy, and if they don't advance here, it will have been 50% of his playoff appearances will have been ended by Wilfred Nancy.
It is kind of like, to make a NFL comparison, like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, where it's like they're both clearly like the class of the AFC, but when push comes to shove, they always have to face each other in the playoffs, and the Chiefs always beat the Bills.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where the game is played. They can play it in Buffalo, the Chiefs win. They can play it in Kansas City, the Chiefs win. If it's in the playoffs, the Chiefs win. They've just got their number.
Yeah. Now, it goes back and forth during the regular season. They played each other like 10 times or whatever since, over the last like 5 years, but they always lose in the playoffs. I don't know. I guess it's a possibility that like, would we have won MLS Cup in 2023 if it wasn't Columbus that we face, if it was literally, dealer's choice from the Eastern Conference instead? I don't know. I think it's up there. The thing, though, that I have to keep coming back to is the first game of this series went so well. We all said and agreed that it was Pat Noonan's best coaching performance. The team looked up for it. And while the goal didn't come until late, we were hammering away at them. We had multiple good opportunities. And despite the late goal, I think overall we left feeling pretty good about that game.
Right. But like, this is kind of the story of the season. Like our performance where we look much better than the opponent is a 1-0 win.
Right.
Our performance when it goes the other way is too often like a 4-0 or 4-1 loss.
Yeah.
The goal differential doesn't matter. Like, I know that was annoying to hear, but Kevin and I were sitting next to each other at Street Side during this game, and I was like, pull everyone off.
Yeah.
Do a hockey line change. I was advocating pull Roman off so that he doesn't have to get peppered with shots and give more goals up.
The goal differential matters in the sense that it looked that non-competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
That you went out in the game and you looked how you looked. That's where the goal difference, I think, reflects it. Like, look, if it had been like, I wouldn't be happy with 4-0 under like any circumstances, but like if the ref walked out and just handed out 2 red cards to FC Cincinnati players in the first minute for no reason,
right.
You wouldn't care. Or if they, gave up 4, but it was like 3-2 and they were really pushing and Columbus had a counter late, like fine, whatever. But they looked terrible, and they've looked terrible multiple times this year. They looked terrible against Columbus this year. And, you know, I don't know. If it's as simple as like Columbus played balls over the top or whatever, or like they kept Arfson like high.
Yeah.
Man, people shouldn't be able to. It's where I think some of the tactical talk's like a red herring. Like, yes, you could describe what happened, but like we had agency here.
Yeah.
Like you can also do things. And so somebody shouldn't be able to come in and dictate to you.
Right.
When you're like a big man and you're a pro.
And I'm fine accepting that, you know, like, oh, okay, they were doing this thing. And that's what led to the first goal. Then FC Cincinnati countered it. You know, like I need something else. If the same tactic is working for 90 minutes, that's a coaching failure. At the very least, it's a player failure, but it's a coaching failure as well.
It's like, I know Arfson has gotten like U.S. men's national team appearances, but he didn't come up in like the Barcelona academy and just has like a better tactical understanding of everybody. Right? Like we have players that we've spent millions of dollars for.
We have a DP guy from the U.S. men's national team.
And they're getting their lunch eaten by an MLS Next Pro player.
Yeah. Ender Echenike, who Arsenal is going up against, is getting full senior Venezuelan national team call-ups. Like, I don't know. It's not nothing.
Yeah. that was the disappointing part to me, was what you're talking about, Grayson, is that, okay, Nancy made adjustments between game 1 and game 2, and Columbus changed what they were doing. I would have hoped, you would think that FC Cincinnati would also be anticipating that, okay, they've seen what we were doing here. We have to add another wrinkle, or we we change something up, or we have something prepared that they aren't ready for. There's something in there. But even if you don't, after you get punched in the mouth once for that goal, it's like, okay, you see what they're doing? Like, have somebody go down, roll around for a second and get Miles over, or get somebody from the midfield over and give some instruction. Like, okay, here's what we're seeing that they're doing. This is what you need to communicate to the team. We need to change this up, or we need to be aware of this, or we need to put this together. And it didn't seem like there was any of that. And what that worries me, or why that concerns me, is we're coming back home. This is a do or die game 3 that we're going to have on Saturday. Columbus has shown the ability to adapt in this series, and they've shown the ability to change what they are doing to be more successful. I haven't seen that from Cincinnati. I haven't seen that from Pat Noonan. And so, you want to go into this game confident, but what is it out there that should give you confidence that Pat Noonan is going to have something and have this team ready to, for the crew, whatever the next adjustment the crew makes? I don't see in this chess match. I think it's asymmetrical warfare at this point. It's all we've seen.
Yeah, I think this is where the 3-game series is preferable to a home and away aggregate. Mm-hmm. Because you actually kind of get your home field advantage if you're the higher seed. This way, you don't really get it in a home aggregate. You talk about like gaming out, like, the advantages of, having your home game first or second or whatever. But it is an advantage having 2 home games and 1 away game.
Yeah.
So
the numbers don't say that for the FC this year.
Yeah, but they looked pretty good in the first game against Columbus at home.
Yeah.
And the crowd was up for it. And I hope the crowd is still up for it, this weekend. I think in the playoffs it does help to be at home. I mean, look, we outplayed NYCFC at home last year. And you want to talk about like a playoff problem versus a Noonan problem. There were plenty of opportunities last year.
Yeah.
Against NYCFC. They just didn't have a striker to finish them.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of it's a very different problem than what's happening this time around.
I buy that. But this is where I'm willing to discount like the 4-0 and call it 2-0. And that's a bummer. But it's not insurmountable that this team can come back and, you know, play with more intensity, which apparently was lacking, and we can discuss that further should the offseason arrive. But I think backs against the wall, we've got more talent. We've got a fan base that will be up for this moment. And I think you still got to bet on the FC to get the win here. Like, adjustments or not, but yeah.
You know who agrees with you is Vegas. I mean, Vegas, you know, we talked about it on the pre-show. We were at Street Side. You know, Columbus was a heavy favorite in this game. This past weekend. Like,
we
Vegas,
might have called it free money. It's unclear if anybody heard that.
They were a heavy favorite, and you go, but and you look now, and FC Cincinnati is back to being a heavy favorite. Like, the Sharps seem to believe, for better or worse, that the home field advantage in these games is controlling, especially in this series. The Sharps feel the home field advantage is controlling, and that's even given the disparity in terms of table positioning. And even given the road successes of FC Cincinnati and the home struggles of FC Cincinnati, they're still considering that. I don't know. I am worried, and we talked a little bit about it in the first segment with our guest, with our you know, mental help professional. I do worry a little bit. I know that there's not a lot of people that are still on the team, but like, there's definitely a here we go again aspect to this game where it feels like you're watching a snuff film in slow motion and already knowing the outcome of the film. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see a third game in this series. I did not want to. I wanted to put them away. I didn't want to give them this opportunity because it just feels like they're the boogeyman in this relationship.
Yeah. I don't know. I am an optimist. I think we got this. I still think we got this.
Right, so I guess maybe to conceptualize this discussion, what do you expect to change for match 3? Obviously, Yuya Kubo will be unavailable due to his self-removal from the lineup process. It did occur to us when we were sitting there.
Maybe his last play.
Yeah, we were about to say, like, that might have been
Cincinnati uniform.
That could, if they do not win this game, that could very well be the last we ever see of Yuya Kubo in these parts, which would be a
sour note to end on.
Arrived as a DP signing.
A samurai's death.
Kind of a ninja's death, really. You got caught committing a crime. All right, so there's no Yuya Kubo.
No Yuya Kubo.
I think you'd be certifiable to play Elvis Powell as a center back again after what happened.
Yeah, I don't think you can run that one back.
What do you expect to see out of the FC for game 3 in terms of lineup, and how do they approach this game?
I think you see Teenage, Miles, and Hagland in the back line. I think you still see Ender on the right side, and I think you see either Orishano or Mark Zook.
Not Engel?
I guess he's healthy, right? So then maybe it's Orishano or Engel, depending on how they're feeling tactically, right? I think Guidi was good, but I think you want a higher floor rather than a higher ceiling in this game. And so I think Obi gets the start over Guidi in midfield.
And then obviously Buka, Evander, and then Brenner Denke.
The rest stays the same.
You think Evander will play?
He's on 2 yellows. Do you risk him?
Yeah, you don't want to risk him. And
did get a kick out of late in the game. Evander comes out. I think it was Evander. And who goes in? Not Dotto. It's Jabari. It's cracking up.
Yeah.
Like, I was just hoping he might foul someone hard just to make me feel better.
Right. Like, in this moment, of all the moments, you couldn't put Dotto in for Evander. All right, fair enough. But yeah, that's how I see it.
Evander's going to be another talking point if they don't advance.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't done anything this series.
So a lot of comments from Portland fans.
He has disappeared at stretches in the season.
Yeah.
He got his spectacular goals. I saw Laurel put on Twitter that he outpaced his XG by like 9 point something.
Yeah.
Her takeaway from that was a little different from mine. But a deserved best 11 selection based on numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think you want your.
Is he Carmelo Anthony? Is the question that I have. Is that like
It's a good
like
comparison
that got tons of points, was a volume scorer, but it took him a shitload of shots to do it, and every opportunity he took that was a low percentage opportunity or a bad shot was a shot that his teammates couldn't take from a better situation. Like, are we leaving goals on the table because Evander hasn't been the facilitator this offense needs, even if he scores spectacular goals from otherwise what you would otherwise consider to be poor shot selection?
I would think that there would be an argument for losing Obi meant you had to go more defensive with Anunga, and therefore Evander didn't have another.
Obi doesn't do shit on offense. Like it's,
but
it's like, I'm sorry.
Obi's a solid passer, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he's a good passer. He's much better than Anunga is. And so once you've removed another competent passer, then it's all on Evander, and it's easier to shut down the offense there. I don't know. I'm thinking thoughts here, but
I don't know.
Didi should alleviate that as well.
It's an off-season talking point. I think it's an interesting off-season talking point. I also, it's an off-season talking point. We'll get into it. It's not for right now. The only lineup change I would be adamantly against is I think I'm done with Luca Orishano.
Ooh.
Like, I think I'm just done outright with him. And especially in this game and in this series, where the team is where Columbus got him. Mm-hmm. And it's to Grayson's point. It should not be this easy to shut down this collection of talent. But you high press this team. They do not move quickly enough. They do not pass the ball quickly enough. And more importantly, they do not pass the ball to space. And when they pass the ball to space, no one is running to that space to get on the other end of it and advance the ball quickly through the lines. And the two chief offenders of that, or the chief offender of that in the last game, was Yuya Kubo, who just has no ability whatsoever. The ball stops when it gets to him. The other chief offender of that throughout the year has been Luca Orishano. The ball stops when it gets to Luca. Luca, when he receives the ball, has two things he can do for the most part. He can either beat someone off the dribble or he can pass backwards. He does not have the vision or the desire to be part of quick advancing link-up plays and quick decisions. I think playing Luca would be the only wrong decision you could make in this game, just because I think that he is a liability when it comes to breaking up a high press.
Your options might be limited. I have found it interesting how many people, including the announcer on Laurel's podcast, have mentioned, Luca Orishano's availability as like a positive, as something that could like be really helpful this game.
Have they watched him play?
I mean, he's clearly a good player. He has a lot of like high level skills, but he has not been effective on this team all year. And that's even recognizing the fact that in a lot of games, his dribbling was the only way that they were consistently advancing the ball. The problem is once the ball is advanced, it went nowhere.
Yeah, he can't do anything with it.
Yeah. It's been a frustrating aspect of this FC Cincinnati team this year is that there are a lot of players who are very talented, but that have selfish tendencies. And I don't mean that in terms of like a character judgment, just right. That like with the ball, they tend to be selfish. Orishano tends to be selfish with the ball. Kubo tends to be selfish with the ball. Evander goes through stretches being selfish with the ball. Denke even goes through stretches
Yeah.
being selfish with the ball. And you look at teams that press, the way you beat the press is by always trusting the next guy and moving the ball around, and selfishness and stopping the progression. I hope they have a solution for that, because it seemed like they have had none throughout the year, and they had none in this game as soon as the Crew put any effort whatsoever into harassing them in possession.
Yeah. Yep. So
I don't know. It's been a depressing segment.
Yeah. Oh,
do you think we can? Do you think we can win this? Do you expect to win this game, Kevin?
I expect to win this game. I think you have to expect to win this game. I think it's fair to have, some nervous, feelings about this game. But at the end of the day, go look through the Columbus Crew's regular season. They lost to much worse teams than us. And I'm not saying FC Cincinnati was perfect, but I will tell you that we were the better team over the course of the season than Columbus. I think it is inarguable, especially with some of the players that they're missing, that we have the more talented team. We're at home. We took their best shot last week. Ideally, we've learned.
We took it and got knocked the fuck out too. So
we did, but ideally we've learned something from that. And it was not a knockout blow. We still get another game at them. I don't see any reason why we should not expect to win this game. Now, if we don't win this game, there are very different conversations, but I think you have to expect to win this game.
Grayson, where are you at?
I'm on the same page with Kevin. Like, I'm not. I know we were really negative, and I don't think that. I don't think that any of the things that we've said are inaccurate, or any of the problems we've identified are not real problems. But I still think we have better players. And I think most of the time the better talent wins out. And so I'm backing our guys. Period.
Yeah.
Is it just as simple as Nick Hagglund being out there? Like, we play better when Nick Hagglund's out there?
Look, you go and track how we've done in the playoffs, and it tracks pretty closely to Nick Hagglund's availability.
Yeah. I saw Matt Miazga was in training this week. Do you have any thoughts that Matt Miazga might have any availability for this match? I mean, it seems obviously no, but the fact that he was out there and at least being publicly seen on a soccer field for the first time in a minute, one has to ask.
If he makes the bench as available as like an emergency late game sub due to injury, I think that's probably good and positive. I think it's bad if we are relying on him in any way. Ideally, he gets healthier and healthier over the international break, and maybe he's available to contribute down the stretch in this playoff run. But it's been so long, but I think people have forgotten that we had questions about him before the injury. Like, he was, nobody questioned his sort of leadership on the field. I think we were all questioning his speed and some of the play that he was doing. So I'd much rather him be, on the bench in the locker room cheering on the guys, not necessarily on the field.
I see Brad Smith was back too. Was there a Brad Smith sighting potentially?
I think everybody was participating in the main group, at least to start. Miazga went off to the side. I'm trying to remember Laurel's tweets about training here. Miazga ultimately ended up being one of the only guys who went off to the side here. So I think about as healthy as we have been literally all year. Miazga's a big missing piece, don't get me wrong, but it's about as healthy as this team has ever been.
Yeah. It's like, yes, the time you want it.
Yeah. No Yuya Kubo for this one, obviously, with the red card, something to keep an eye on.
And I think cards were set after this round, so it doesn't really matter what.
What you need to not do is
What is
getting
like a straight red?
well, a straight red or a third yellow in this one. So Evander is a question mark. Does Miles have 2 yellows? Oh, I can't remember. I know he got one last game. Did he get one the game before?
I'm going to be real. I don't care. I don't care how many players pick yellows up in this game. Just win.
He did not.
I could not be bothered less. Like if it requires every player that's on a set on 2 yellows to get a third one, I don't care who's available for the next round. Just win this game. Like
that's fair.
This is must win. This is must win territory. I'm sorry. I don't feel shy putting that out there.
You're knocked out if you don't win.
No, I'm not even saying
so. Yes, it's must win.
So yes, it's must win. No, I'm talking bigger picture than even just this playoff series. Like I don't love the idea of 2 straight seasons going into the postseason with the higher seed and home field advantage and coming home empty-handed on both, failing to advance from the first round.
Who do you think
that's
gets
a bad
fired
look.
if they don't win? Who do you think gets fired?
Let me put it this way.
Yuya Kubo.
Yeah.
I said this, I think, in the Discord, and I believe it. The whole argument for FC Cincinnati, why do you exist? What is your sales pitch to the Cincinnati community writ large as to why you are worthy of time, attention, and financial support?
Yeah.
And the answer is because we do things differently than the other teams in town. You saw billboards around town, you know, there's always next season, and they cross out next or whatever, or, playoffs guaranteed. They are positioning themselves as the anti-Reds and the anti-Bengals.
Yeah.
And that the nonsense that those teams tolerate, we don't tolerate that around here. We spend big, we have big ambitions. We give we put a product on the field that we think can win a championship every year.
Yep.
And I wonder what the response is from ownership when that's your sales pitch, and yet you're doing the Marvin Lewis where you've made the playoffs and then you lose to TJ Yates in the 1 p.m. kickoff on a Saturday. I'm curious.
So you think if they don't win, Pat Noonan gets fired?
I have no inside information, no intel on this whatsoever. I'm saying that I think I would not be sleeping well if I was Pat Noonan and they don't win this game.
Okay. So I think that, like, if you're going to call it must win for reasons other than the season's over.
Yeah.
Then you have to think that somebody's getting fired. And it can't be like, oh, Ricky Paez is going to lose his job.
Right.
I think
Austin Berry's head's going to roll.
I think there will be changes made if somewhere in the organization, I think there will be changes made if they do not win this game. Whether that's bringing in new assistants, whether that's changing the manager. I don't think Albright's on the hot seat. I would be shocked if Albright was the person that takes the fall for anything. But I think that there's, you lose in the first round 2 straight seasons as the higher seed. What's the argument for that's okay? I don't know the answer to that question. And there has to be an argument for that's okay, because if there isn't an argument for that's okay, then we're just repeating something that doesn't work.
I don't think we have enough history of this to start throwing out the name Marvin Lewis. And I think there's a lot of room between that's not okay and everybody's fired.
I didn't say everybody was fired. I said there's going to be some changes.
Well, there's always going to be changes.
Also,
Yuya Kubo is going to retire.
There we go. It's all Yuya's fault.
Just saying, I'm looking at this Cincinnati Bengals team right now. Marvin Lewis sounds pretty nice to me. Okay,
but this is probably a later discussion. I just think it's a little silly to call something a must win unless you think, well, a must win for consequences beyond those of the season.
Yeah.
Unless you think that somebody major is losing their job. And all respect, I don't really think assistant, like this assistant's got to go, is must win.
I mean, Zach Taylor won't do it.
At least in football, there's a very obvious, this guy's in charge of this thing and this thing is failing. It's the same reason why baseball fans get mad at like hitting coaches and pitching coaches. It's like, they're Major League Baseball players, guys. They know how to hit. Like, I don't really think it's the hitting coach's fault.
I think that, so like for me too, like if I watch a Bengals game, every time they go over to like Zach Taylor, just with his mouth gaping open and his like lifeless eyes staring unblinkingly at the field, I get like well up with rage. Right. And I'm not there with Pat Noonan.
I'm not there either. Like, I'm not there. All I'm saying is that like 2 seasons in a row losing is the higher seed.
Now he does annoy me sometimes, like with his comments after last game. I was a little like
the patience.
I was a little like, do you even care about this? But of course he cares about it.
Yeah.
Right. Of course he knows the game's not okay. He's just not going to sit there and belabor the point because it's not how he handles things.
Yeah, Chief, I think it's fair to bring up the idea. I also think it's fair to say it's a hot take. But yeah, like this moment is so big. There is so much pressure riding on this, not just for this season, to Grayson's point, but like the proof of concept for the FC Cincinnati project, right? Isn't that what every player says when they join the team? I'm interested in the project. They sold me on the project that they're building. The project here needs to be able to get past game 3 against Columbus at home. And if it fails, then I think you do have to question, what is the state of the project and how do we go from here? And the answer may very well be continue forward with the same core group of guys, give them another year to gel. That's fine. But I think you bring up a good point. It may very well not be the answer.
Yeah. Last year, there was a very clear answer. He was sitting in the building for game 3. And now he's playing on the field. And I would bet you, just based on the roster construction as we know it, there is not a similar player sitting that will be watching this game at TQL on Saturday.
No, and we've hamstrung our ability to sign that player.
Yeah. We've got that. We believe we have those players on the roster already.
Yes.
Which is why you should be confident that they should win this game, that they have gone out and they have acquired players that they believe and that have demonstrated over the course of the year that they are very, very talented players that do very, very talented things. We talked about it after the first game. There's your confidence right there. And so the question of why it doesn't work or why it does work is for another day. But I think that like what you have to go into this game thinking is, of the opportunities you will have to face Columbus Crew in the playoffs, I don't know that you're going to come up with a matchup more favorable than the one we have right now, where we have, I think, on balance, the better players.
Yep. We're
at home. They are missing one of their top players. All of our top players are available. There is only one player on our roster right now that will be unavailable for selection. Now, it's a big one, Matt Miazga, but it ain't a DP.
No.
Abu Ali's a DP. He's not going to be playing in this game. So you should be confident, because I think anything other than confidence going into this game is letting people off the hook. Who exactly. should be winning this game. You should be confident because the people that you're being told by everyone, not just us, everyone, are good players, should be going out there and performing. And by saying, oh, I don't think they're going to win this game, you are letting those players off the hook that they need to perform in this game. You are letting the coaching staff, who should be getting this group of players ready to play, who have beaten teams better than Columbus throughout the year, getting those players ready to play and to play a game in an elimination game in their own building where they have said we should be playing better and we feed off the energy of the fans.
Yep.
To expect anything other than a win is letting these people and giving them a pass for a poor performance. And I think we should be expecting excellence from this group and from these players and from this coaching staff.
I think we obviously don't know what we're talking about. And that's why I try to like avoid telling people like to rely on my or our analysis.
Yes.
But you don't have to. Albright went on local radio before the first playoff game, and he said like this is one of the deepest teams I've ever seen in MLS.
Yeah.
You know, I'm paraphrasing, but Albright knows, I think everybody would agree, Chris Albright knows more than we do about soccer. He knows more than basically anybody in the country knows about soccer, right? Or as much as basically anybody in the country knows about soccer. And he thinks this is a championship roster. He thinks this is one of the deepest teams that's ever been assembled in MLS. So, you know, I believe him.
8 DPs, either current, future, or former. That has to be an MLS record.
Yeah.
That is an insane amount of talent accumulated on one team here.
So yeah, we're gonna win the game.
I think we're all in agreement that we win.
What's your prediction?
I think I'm gonna go 1-0. I think it's a replay of game 1. I think it's a very convincing, dominant, but nonetheless 1-0 victory.
I think it's a replay of game 2 of the regular season, except where we go up 2 goals early.
Okay.
But instead of just bleeding goals throughout the game, we hold. Crew get one late, make things a little nervy. Ultimately, we come out on top 2-1.
That sounds nice. I won't like it in the moment, but right now I will take it. Chief.
The good news is I don't believe Crew will bunker and play for penalties the way New York City did in game 3 last year. I don't think that's in their DNA to play that style of soccer.
Yes.
That style of soccer. So there are a lot of teams that in this situation I think would play cynically. They would play to have the scoreless draw and take their chances in PKs. I don't think Columbus plays that way. And for that reason, I think we're going to win 2-0. We'll score 1 and then we will score a second one as Crew is desperately attempting to come back in this game. And they will pick a second one off late, you know, maybe in like the dying minutes of the game.
I love it. Game is at 6 p.m. on Saturday, and it is an orange out, folks. So wear orange.
Or wear whatever you want. Like, just be loud.
I mean, don't wear yellow.
Well, don't wear yellow. wear whatever the hell you want. Don't wear yellow. Be loud. Be brave. Fuck Columbus.
The Cincy PostCast is a production of The Post Cincy. You can check us out online at thepostcincy.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky, Facebook, and Instagram. Twitter and Blue Sky, though, you'll find we're a little more active than the other places. We're also on YouTube, where you can listen to this episode if you aren't listening to it already. We are also putting up video content semi-regularly, including the Away Days series. We want to give a huge thank you to Jim Trace and the Makers for providing the music for this episode. They are a lovely band, and you can find more information out about them in the description of this episode. And if you happen to enjoy what you just heard, can I please ask that you like us, that you rate us on whatever app you're listening to, and maybe more importantly than all of that, share this episode with a friend. When it comes up at work, you're talking about FC Cincinnati, and say, hey, I listened to an FC Cincinnati podcast. I think you guys will like it. It would really, really help us out. Nothing helps a podcast travel more than a good recommendation from a friend, family member. That would be awesome. When it comes to the sorting algorithms that control our lives, a 5-star review would be much appreciated. Also, leaving a sort of written review weirdly does more than that. That's how the algorithms work. So maybe say a nice or a mean thing, whatever. Just as long as you give us 5 stars, that'll really, really, really help us out. And if you are looking for more MLS content, check out our other podcast, The World's Gam. Again, a link will be in the description of this episode. That is where we touch on league-wide storylines and news, and we talk about other games and a couple other teams in there as well. I think you will enjoy it if you are just dipping your toes into Major League Soccer. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors. A even bigger thank you to all of our patrons over at Patreon. But maybe most importantly, thank you for listening to this episode.